Adam Levy, who plays online as Roothlus, recently made the TV final table of the WPT event at Bellagio's Festa al Lago. He wound up hitting the rail in 5th for his biggest ever cash to date of $266,000. The pro made a name for himself online, and he recently picked up a sponsorship from Ultimate Bet. I spoke with Levy in our suite at Caesar's Palace to talk about the Festa al Lago event. Well, thank you very much for being here with us today, Adam.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the final table at Festa. I mean, are you one of those players who can accept that kind of congratulations, or is it because you didn't win, you're kind of disappointed?
I feel like whenever it's like your first time around, this is the deepest or the closest I've come to like making, like this amount of money, and this is my biggest cash, so it's like I'm kind of happy that I'm there, obviously a little disappointed, but it's kind of like it's like a new, like I can like pat myself on the back now that I have like, a WPT final table under my belt.
Right. Well, and it also, I mean, coincided pretty perfectly because you just got picked up by Ultimate Bet. You can see by the patches and all that. And so you just get picked up by Ultimate Bet, and now you've got some TV FaceTime with the logos and everything like that, and you're basically,
and
spreading your credibility.
Stuff. Yeah, it was a pretty fortunate. It was pretty fortunate timing wise.
Well, and in this entire Festa event, I mean, you were a short stack for a very decent amount of the time in the event, right? You were pretty much, nursing.
I mean, I had 30 big blinds going into day 4, and then I like doubled up to 500K, but like maybe around the 3rd level, I started getting short to like 20 big blinds or so, and I never really had more than 20 big blinds the rest of the tournament.
Right, and so you're about to play in the Caesar's Palace Classic.
I'm at 25, sorry, at most. After that, yeah.
So, but I mean, it's still, 20, 25. That's actually not that bad in most tournaments. But I mean, that's what you'd expect when you're that deep. Is that not true, or?
Kind of. We were kind of annoyed that they didn't roll back the blinds, because apparently they used to on World Poker Tours or whatever. But I think it was more that we just realized it took forever for people to bust. Like I think it was. We had 13 left going into the last level of, day 4. And by day 5, on the 5th level, we had like 10 people left.
Yeah.
Or it might have been 4. Yeah, I think it was 5 levels. It was just absurd that 3 people would bust in that long. I had never seen so many like non-coolers, I guess. Like you're normally supposed to see like queens versus kings, aces versus, whatever, aces versus ace king, just like even stuff like that. And nothing happened. There was queens versus kings, and the queens had the 2 out to get us to the final table. Like It was just ridiculous.
Well, we've been kind of talking about semi-short stack play, but you're about to go into the Caesar's Palace Classic, which we're here to cover right now, and it's kind of making some noise because they're giving you 100,000 in starting stacks. And I know that the blinds start at 100, 200, but even after the first day of play, if you still have 100,000 chips, you still have more than 10 times the big blind. What is your strategy going into that?
Well, I finally I guess sometimes I'm a little stubborn, but after this tournament, I've officially decided that tournament players just don't have. I knew it. I just early on the cash game players just have the huge edge. The people who just come in, play the 10K, and then go back to playing their cash games. But I get I like playing that deep. But I just get into situations that I'm just like, what do I do here? How did I even get myself? It's 5 ways to the flop, and then I hit top pair on it's gets really, really complicated. But I mean, it's kind of fun in a way because it's new stuff.
Right. Well, and just the fact that you're playing so many situations so deep stack, does it almost lend itself to maybe playing a little bit tighter, or do you think a looser strategy is?
I mean, I'm supposed to play tighter because if someone's gonna outplay me post flop, but I kind of like to play. I still like to see a fair amount of hands, kind of put myself to the test and try to make the correct decisions.
Okay. Well, let's actually. The reason I brought you in here was to discuss at least 1 or 2 hands from Festa, and so you had sent me 2 hands from Festa that you wanted to talk about that you thought may be kind of interesting to talk about. So let's go right into those. The first hand that you sent me was from day 2. You had about 38K in chips with blinds at 500, 1,000. Do you want to talk me through the specifics of this hand?
Yeah, I picked up ace king off under the gun. I had 38,000 and I made it 3K, and I was actually at kind of a tough table. That was kind of why I was just making it 3 times instead of really. I mean, they're gonna people. I just didn't really want to get involved necessarily. I mean, obviously with Ace King, but that was my standard open there. And I had like Crazy Zachary, AMAC, and Amit Mug. He got Vivek, Johnny Bax. Like it was a, and I think Chad Brown and Roland DeWolf and Ali Prescott were there too. So it was kind of
just those people.
Yeah,
no one we'd really recognize.
No one really good. No.
Okay, right.
But yeah. So I make it 3K. Zach flats. He is like 50 or 60K. And then the only guy who I really didn't know was this Asian guy who I thought I recognized, but I didn't really. And he had like 100K in chips. And he called, I think, on like the button.
Okay.
And it might not have been the button, but it might have. They were in position.
Now, as far as preflop's concerned, under the gun with Ace King, is there really ever any? Does it ever even cross your mind to kind of slow play that, or is that just right out never like a slow play kind of hand?
I've honestly I never limp Ace King under the gun, but like people do that, like so, and sometimes I think maybe I've done it like once, like ever, like it. Sometimes there are situations, but like not when you're playing against a good table who's really not gonna like do too, and especially when the one guy you don't know is also playing kind of on the tighter side, so it's not like he's just gonna like raise, Right. So. No, not really. No value in slow playing out on Ace King.
So you end up getting called in 2 spots after you raise under the gun. I mean, it's a pretty strong move to get raised under the gun, but nowadays it's kind of looking like raising under the gun could be the new steal. So yeah. It's losing a little bit of credibility to a certain extent. So are you surprised that you get 2 callers?
Kind of. Because it's like my stack's not real. Like I hadn't really playing that loose, and I'm not really like on a stack where I will be playing that loose, so I kind of put Zach on maybe an overpair, maybe like Ace Queen, maybe like tens. I wasn't really sure. I mean, he could have just had like a big hand, but and then the other guy I think just jumped in there maybe like with a set, like some sort of set mining hand or whatever. Like, I mean, he pretty much like could have Jack 10 suited there.
I mean, he was in late position, so he could afford to see a flop and maybe stack someone with a big hand if he gets a lucky flop, basically. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you get those 2 callers, and the flop comes down 7-3-2 all clubs. Is that a danger flop at all for you? You have 12K in the pot, and what's going through your mind first to act?
I had the king of clubs, but it was kind of weird because if I bet the flop and I get shoved, now like they have fold equity, and I feel like what I want to do in this hand is try to. I don't mind gambling there and getting called, and even if he has like the queen 10 of clubs or whatever, it's funny I mention that. But then like I still have outs, But I just wanted to create fold equity, so I checked. In hopes that one of the 2 people would bet, which I felt there was a good chance on that kind of a rag board that it would happen. And I check. Zach bets like not like under half pot, 4,800, and he'd been making these small like weird bets. I don't really I don't really know what the bets were, and I didn't see his hands or anything, but they were just very small, and. The guy folds, and then I make it 14,000 to go.
So what's your thought process behind that? I mean, like you're creating fold equity, I assume, but with the kind of range of hands that you put him on, how much are you expecting him to fold?
I wasn't feeling happy with it. I did not think he was necessarily going to fold. I thought there was a possibility maybe he'd fold like 6s or something, or yeah. Like I didn't feel like there was going to be a fold because my line doesn't really look like aces there. Maybe aces with ace of clubs or something like that. Not like a really strong hand. But I mean, it's possible maybe he could have put me on the nut flush. I don't know, but right. I don't think he's going to really it's hard to really put me there.
Well, and theoretically, let's say he does have something like a mid pocket pair or even a small overpair to the board with no club. Is it profitable for him to call you there, knowing he's ahead at that point, but knowing you probably have 2 overcards and the nut flush draw?
For like 10s or something, you're saying,
or for 10s or for 6s, like you were saying, if he doesn't have a club.
I think it's kind of like if he has 6s with like no club, I can actually get him off the hand. If he has like 10s, then I think he might just be like it's possible that he's just getting it in there. But if he has 10s with a club, and maybe he's not folding.
Okay, even though the 10 of clubs
It was
in most
dead.
situations is probably dead.
Yeah,
but it's just taking one of your outs away.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's more. Also, it's kind of like if he's wrong, then like if I have the ace of clubs, he's ahead, but he doesn't have the clubs as an out. But if he's wrong and I have the aces, I have aces with with the red aces, he still has the 10 outs, So it's hard to really fold once you bet there.
Right. And it could be, I mean, pretty often people will check raise with no flush draw on an all one suit board just because they really don't want those draws following them along if they have a hand. They just want to get paid off right then. So.
Yeah. But I felt like he would have bet a little bigger if he had red 10s there.
Right.
So I mean, I really was not happy about it, but I had to check. I have to check raise there. Like I can't just call. It's even though I don't have the second nut flush. And, he could have ace queen with ace of clubs, and then I'm ahead. So I just had to do that, and I left 20K behind, and was ready to call that off.
Right.
And then he folded.
And you end up folding. So
Yeah,
it's probably the best case scenario.
I did not expect the fold. I was like. I mean, obviously it's always in the back of my mind because I wouldn't have, but I didn't expect it at all. And
really?
I could have shoved because I thought maybe it was a little transparent that I'd check raise there, but I think I have a tight enough image that I can kind of get away with that because it's like I might be doing something tricky there with a big hand.
Okay. The final question I have about this hand is, this takes place on day 2. Is this your same kind of line in the exact same situation later on, closer, in the money where the spots kind of matter more, or?
I'm sorry. Repeat the question.
I'm saying this is happening on day 2.
Yeah.
Is this the same line you're going to take in this hand if you're later on in the tournament when you're in the money and the spots may matter more, or is this something that you're doing because it's so early in the tournament?
Yes, but I have to kind of do that with that stack. It's let's say I have 38 blinds. I'm trying to think so, 2K, 4K, and I have 140K or whatever, and I want to get that in there. That's not a big stack still. Right. So it's still if I had 100 blinds, I'm probably betting because I don't think that I can shove, but I'm probably not going to shove. But if I get raised, then I can still kind of call or whatever. It's different with the stack. So it's just really about the stack.
Okay. Well, I know you're about to play in the Caesars Palace Classic right now. It's about to start in a few minutes, so I want to let you go. But I really appreciate you doing this interview with us. Thank you very much.
All right, yeah, no problem.
And good luck in the event today.
All right, thank you.
And thank you guys for watching the Online Zone on Card Player TV.